Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Transformers Titans Return review for you today. This is Deluxe Mindwipe with Volrath. I've had this guy for a little bit. I found Mindwipe and Highbrow and Chrome Dome all at the same time, and for whatever reason, other things have popped up and kind of taken priority, so I'm glad to finally be getting to this guy. Still haven't found Weird Wolf, or Wolf Y, or whatever they're calling him, but to me he's Weird Wolf. For whatever reason, I just found these three all together. Like at one case must have come in at Target, and I haven't seen any since. I'm still trying to track down a Brainstorm at Walgreens as well, which is proving quite difficult. But happy to have Mindwipe here. Looks pretty fun. Love the artwork. Taking a look at the back, you can see you have Robot Mode. Here's your Titan Master. Here is your Bat Alt Mode. Here, Wolf Wire. That's the Deluxe example they show here. Haven't been able to find Astro Train or Alpha Trion or Soundwave either. Still hunting for those. Hopefully soon they will arrive. Taking a look at here at the top of the card, it says the Decepticons unite with Titan Master partners to power up for battle. Same first sentence on everyone. Volrath gives Mindwipe control over other bots' central processors, making them servants that do his bidding. That is a power that he had in the original G1 cartoon. He could do mind control, make people, do what he says and things like that. So that's kind of neat. So we will go ahead, we will get these guys out of the packaging and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so out of the packaging, he comes with these two accessories, and we'll take a quick look at his card. Very simple. It's all made out of the same pretty durable cardboard that they've been using. Now you can see here, see if we can get that to focus, there we go. On his own, Mindwipe has a little bit of strength, a little bit of firepower. I think it's kind of funny that his brain power is the lowest, considering he has like telekinesis abilities, but I guess that's because Volrath gives it to him, because you can see once Volrath is attached, that really shoots up and becomes his highest attribute, and then firepower and then strength and speed's kind of low. So that's pretty neat. I like these cards. Gonna put that off to the side. That's pretty much it for that. It comes with this gun. I kind of like it. Just kind of a short pistol, but I like the design. Fits very easily into his hand. Just like that, no problem there. Then you have this piece here, which forms part of a tail in bat mode. But for here, you can use it. It's going to be like what the Titan Master can sit in. As you can see, the pistol kind of mounts right in there. So you can flip this part out, and if you want to, he has a hole on either forearm. You could peg it in there as kind of like a shield, which looks kind of neat. You could have him just hold it if you want, or you could have him flip it around, and this peg can rotate around 180, and then you could have him, hold a Titan, sit the Titan Master here, and he could hold it like that. So it gives you a lot of options, which I think is pretty cool. So that's kind of it for that accessory. I'm just going to put that off to the side for now. I'll bring it back in when I show you the Titan Master. But I think the robot mode looks pretty good. Of course, head can move from side to side and up and down. You have you have this kind of pin here in the shoulder where this can move up and down. And then, of course, a ball joint in the actual shoulder. Then you have a bicep swivel. You have two elbow joints because of the transformation. So one here and one here. And then the hand doesn't really have any articulation. It's going to rotate back in like that and around into the forearm for the transformation. So that's it for articulation for the hand. You have a waist swivel, have the swivel here, and then a ratchet in the hip. But it looks like a ratchet, but doesn't really make any kind of ratcheting sounds. But it's pretty tight. Then you have a thigh swivel, and then you have pretty much 90 degrees in the knee. Not really much in the ankle. That just kind of swivels up and down. He doesn't really have trouble standing, but he doesn't really have heels, as you can see. He's got a big foot, but because of the way the feet have they go back like this, so the center of gravity in the foot is really weird. So it tends to make him want to rock backwards. Now he kind of has these, parts of you'll see that the wing forms the legs. We'll get into that during the transformation, but these parts of the wings kind of act like heels, but you kind of just need to find a pose where you can distribute the weight a little evenly, maybe put the hands a little forward, something like that. And then he'll stand, no problem. You just kind of have to get the right pose to distribute the weight evenly. But really nice Decepticon symbol painted there on the chest. You have some silver paint apps down here. A little bit of maroon to go with the purple, I think looks pretty nice. Bat head kibble on the back. Not that big a deal, but overall, I think the robot mode looks good. I like the color scheme. I think the paint applications look good. We'll go ahead and pop the Titan Master off. Put that off to the side. And take a closer look here. I like the face sculpt. I think they did a nice job with that. Nice silver paint. Red eyes look good. Transformation, obviously very simple. Try to show you the head of the Titan Master. Some nice detail there. And then, of course, he's black with purple arms and legs. So I think that works. I think they did a nice job. I like the look of him. To bring this piece back in, now you can do a couple of things. You can just have him sit here like this and put the cannon in. And then that kind of becomes a little Titan Master thing. The directions show that you can actually close this back up. And it'll kind of keep the Titan Master in place a little bit. Kind of, pins his legs there. So you can do it either way, whatever you prefer. If you like to pin his legs in, if you think it looks cooler, having these out so that you kind of have like a bayonet as well as a gun. Completely up to you. Either one works. So I think that's nice. I think, there's lots of options with this accessory as far as how he can wield it, how it can attach, its playability with the Titan Master. So I appreciate all that. But putting all that off to the side here, I will leave the Titan Master and weapons off, and we will go ahead and get into the transformation. I think it's kind of a fun little transformation, and after you do it once or twice, it's very easy to get the hang of. It's not hard to begin with, but you're going to go ahead and rotate those fists back into the forearm like I showed you earlier. Now, a lot of this stuff is kind of a softer plastic. Pretty much anything that's maroon. The bat head, these wings are kind of a softer plastic, as you can see. And then these sections down here, we'll get to them in a second, but you can kind of rotate the bat head down just to kind of get it out of the way for now. And then fold these wings up. And then what you're going to do is on the bicep swivel, you're going to rotate it 180 degrees and rotate them around. And then you're just going to kind of use the two joints here to bring the black piece down and just kind of make like a thick back leg. And that's going to be your bat leg. So you're just going to come around and repeat the process on this side. Rotate that up. And then bring that down. And that'll be your back legs for the bat. Bat really only has legs, but you'll see what I mean. Then you can see this purple piece right here. You can actually rotate this 180 and it'll stop. And the nice thing is there's little tabs. You can kind of see it. You can see the little tab right there. There's one on each side, so when you rotate it around, it has a logical stopping point. And I appreciate that, because otherwise you could rotate it too far and break it or something. But it's just a nice little tab. Doesn't get in the way, but it makes it very clear where to stop. So once you rotate those around, you can put the bat head back to get out of the way. You're going to basically just open up this leg section, and you're going to see when you open this, there's a tab on the very, right there on the bat wing, and that tabbed into a slot there. And you're going to just kind of open these up, and you're going to unfurl the wings, which are kind of a shell former for the legs. You can do it all the way around, open up all the hinges. Then you can bring this around and rotate this up so you can see the wings here like this. Now, I don't think the wings look that bad, but for whatever reason, the last piece, the last segment of the wings on both sides is the same kind of soft rubbery plastic that the head and the other smaller wings are made of. And I have to assume that was just because when they were boxing it, basically folding the wings up to make a rectangle for the legs, just so they could get it to bend the way they wanted to. They couldn't use a rigid piece of plastic. They wanted it to have a little bit of bend so that you could get it into the, get the tab into the slot. I assume it was just a little bit easier to do it that way. Now you can see here there's a tab on these wings. There's a tab here, and then there's a tab here. And then there's a little slot right here. So basically this tab is going to go into this slot, and then simultaneously this tab is going to plug in to this slot here on the black piece. So you're going to have to rotate the feet down a little bit so that this connector is at a bit of a 45 so that everything lines up. You can kind of just move these out of the way and just use this tab as a guide. Once you get this tab into this connector, you'll know you're at the right angle. And then you can bring the black piece up and fit that tab in. And I also think it's kind of neat here. You can see how there's the very beginning of a ridge here in the black piece, and that becomes flush with the wing as that goes around so that it looks like the wing is connected to the foot. I think that's a nice little touch that they didn't really have to do, but I really like it. I think it really adds something to that. So again, you just have to use that as a guide and then plug this part in. So like I said, that takes a little getting used to the first time, but then once you know how to line it up, it's very simple. These pieces you're just going to rotate back. And that's kind of a bummer that they didn't really find a better way to hide the feet. I get it, but they really do just kind of hang off the back there. So that's a bit of a bummer. And then at this point, all you have to do is on this purple hinge right here, rotate this up. It'll kind of click into place and the bat head will stay there. And there you go. If you want to, use the hinges of the wings to kind of make it look like the bat's, got his wings in front of him, you can pose them or play with that however you like. You can take the accessories, plug this into the top here, and then rotate this up. And there is a little hole here on the butt. And if you want to plug this in as a tail, you can. If you want to leave it off, you can do that too. To me, it doesn't really add anything. Bats kind of have really short stubby tails as far as I know, so this kind of looks a little out of place. But if you want somewhere to store these accessories in bat mode, you have it. Overall, I don't think it's a bad bat mode. The bat head is a little weird. But again, it's made out of that softer plastic, especially the ears. The mouth can kind of open and close, which I think is pretty neat. Even being softer plastic, they have that in there. So that's a nice touch. And you can see the teeth are painted silver, which is nice. So they do have some nice paint apps going. I don't know why this couldn't have been just a harder plastic. I guess they were afraid like it wouldn't tab into place. But, I mean, to me, you don't really need... There is kind of a little hole right there, and there's a tab inside. It's really hard to get it to go. But I feel like this piece, once this purple piece clicks in place, like the head stays. You're not really in danger of the head falling, like that you need a second tab. I think that could have been hard plastic and not really been that big a deal. Again, I don't know. I don't know if it was a cost-saving measure or just they felt like if it was rigid plastic, it might snap or damage. But I feel like with softer plastic, you run the risk of it kind of breaking down over time. So we'll see. We'll see how it holds up. You can see this section opens up. You can take the headmaster. Now there is a little slot right there for that kind of tab on the back of his legs to peg in. But just maybe don't plug it in all the way, because I noticed when you plug it in all the way, it's kind of hard to get him out of there again. But you can see he sits right in there, very simple. This thing has been giving me trouble. Or maybe he's not pegged in all the way, so that's why it won't close. There you go. All right, so I guess you do have to peg him in all the way, but it's a little difficult to get him out. But it's very easy to flip this down, pop him in, close it back up, and I think that looks great. So overall, I like the bat mode. I don't love it, but I feel like, it's pretty good for what they could do with it. I think the soft plastic elements are a little weird, but overall, it's not too shabby. So ultimately, I like Mindwipe. He's not a perfect figure by any means, but I really do like the robot mode here. You just kind of have to find a pose that distributes the weight evenly so he doesn't kind of rock backwards. But once you do, he stands perfectly fine, and I think he looks great. The bat mode, I think, looks aesthetically okay. The soft rubbery parts are a little bit of a bummer, only because I feel like over time they're going to degrade faster than the rest of the figure would, and then that's going to cause problems. I think the transformation is neat. I think it works well having the wings fold up instead of just you still have the aesthetic of the wings on the back, but they're not super huge and out of place like they were a little bit on the G1 original figure. So I think they found a good way to compromise with that, and they work well, like, you know, folding them up and boxing them into the legs. It's just having the soft bits on the end. I guess they figured, like, the way you have to get that to kind of snap in, it is at kind of a weird angle, and I guess they were afraid that a hard plastic piece would snap over time or be too brittle. And I do think that is part of it. I think sometimes when you have really small, thin pieces of plastic, they are afraid that they'll be too brittle, so they make them the softer, rubbery plastic just so they don't snap. And like I said, it is what it is. We'll see how they hold up over time. But there are definitely a lot of things about Mindwipe that I like. I like the Titan Master design, the color scheme, and the paint apps look great. I really do like this robot mode. The alt mode is okay. It's certainly not the best alt mode we've gotten so far in the line, but it is what it is, and I think you can appreciate it for what it is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Deluxe Mindwipe with Volrath from Transformers Titans Return, and thanks for watching.